Most people think they know what risk looks like. They think it's quitting a job or starting a side hustle. But they have no idea what it feels like to stand on the edge of a literal abyss. In late 2008, one man stood there. His name was Elon Musk. He had $180 million from the sale of PayPal, every cent he'd ever made. And he had a choice: he could keep it and live like a king forever, or he could throw it into the fire. He chose the fire. He split that money between two impossible dreams: a car company that couldn't build cars and a rocket company that couldn't stop exploding. By December, the fire was winning. SpaceX had failed 3 times in a row. Tesla was bleeding $4 million a month. He was going through a brutal divorce. He was borrowing money from friends just to pay his own rent. The media wasn't just doubting him, they were laughing at him. They called him a fraud and a promoter. They waited for the inevitable bankruptcy headline. But while the world was waiting for him to fail, Elon was sleeping on the factory floor. He wasn't there for the cameras. He was there because he refused to let the light of his vision go out. He told his team, "Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough." The turning point. Imagine the pressure. If the 4th rocket fails, SpaceX is gone. If the funding doesn't close by Christmas Eve, Tesla is dead. That is the high pain threshold Musk talks about. He didn't just want to succeed, he was willing to suffer more than anyone else to make it happen. He wore the same clothes for 5 days. He woke up smelling like metal dust. He stared at the abyss of death and didn't blink. And then, on December 23, 2008, the impossible happened. NASA called. A $1.5 billion contract. The next day, on Christmas Eve, Tesla secured its funding with just hours to spare. He had survived by the skin of his teeth. Today, Elon Musk is the wealthiest person in history, but this isn't a story about money. It's a story about persistence. It's about the fact that ordinary people can choose to be extraordinary. In this video, we aren't just looking at his rockets or his cars. We are looking at the Musk mindset. The raw, brutal truth of what it takes to change the world. If you've ever felt like giving up, if you've ever felt like the odds are stacked against you, then you need to hear this. This is the architect of tomorrow. Let's dive in. The kid who read everything. To understand how a man survives the pressure of 2008, you have to go back to Pretoria, South Africa, in the 1970s. Elon wasn't the cool kid. He was the bookworm. While other kids were playing sports, Elon was reading 2 books a day. He didn't just read comics, he read the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. He was a sponge for information. But his intelligence made him a target. He was severely bullied in school, once being thrown down a flight of stairs and beaten so badly he ended up in the hospital. At home, things weren't much better. He had a difficult relationship with his father, which he later described as mental torture. Most people would let that trauma break them. But Elon used it as a shield. He retreated into a world of computers. At age 12, he coded his own video game called Blaster and sold it for $500. It wasn't about the money, it was the realization that he could create something out of nothing. He learned early on that the world is just a set of rules that can be rewritten. The PayPal gamble. Fast forward to the 90s. Elon lands in America with almost nothing. He and his brother Kimball started a company called Zip2. They were so broke they lived in their tiny office and showered at the local YMCA. When they sold Zip2, Elon walked away with $22 million. At 27 years old, he was set for life. He could have bought an island and disappeared. Instead, he took almost all of it and put it into a new idea, X.com, which eventually became PayPal. He was voted out as CEO while he was on a rare vacation, but when eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion, Elon's share was $180 million. Again, he reached a fork in the road. This is the moment that separates the rich from the legendary. Most people would say, "I've won the game. I'm done." But Elon looked at his $180 million and thought, how can I use this to solve the biggest problems facing humanity? The why. Here is the lesson for you: don't work for the paycheck, work for the problem. Elon didn't start SpaceX because he thought he'd get rich, he actually thought the chance of success was less than 10%. He did it because if we don't become a multiplanetary species, the light of consciousness might go out. He didn't start Tesla because he liked cars, he did it because the world was addicted to oil. That if you are chasing money, you will quit as soon as things get hard. But if you are chasing a solution to a problem you care about, you become unstoppable. You don't get tired when you're saving the world, but as Elon was about to find out, having a great mission doesn't make the journey any easier. It actually makes the target on your back much, much bigger. Stay with me, because next, we're going into the brutal reality of the 100-hour work week. The year of absolute chaos. 2008 wasn't just a bad year for Elon Musk. It was a nightmare that would have crushed any normal human being. Imagine this: you've put every dollar you have into two companies. SpaceX, your rocket company, has just watched its third rocket in a row explode before reaching orbit. Thousands of hours of work, millions of dollars, gone in a ball of fire. At the same time, Tesla is running out of money. The global economy is crashing. Nobody wants to invest in a startup electric car company. Oh, and to make it worse, his personal life is falling apart. He's going through a public, painful divorce. He was literally living on the edge of total bankruptcy. He describes this time as eating glass and staring into the abyss. He had a tiny bit of money left. Just enough to save one company. If he split the money, both might die. If he picked one, the other would definitely die. What did he do? He went all in on both. He bet his last cent that he could make it work. Most people call that crazy. Elon calls it Tuesday. The choice to suffer. Why didn't he just quit? Because he had already decided that the mission was more important than his comfort. He wasn't looking at his bank account, he was looking at the future. He told his team at SpaceX, "For my part, I will never give up, and I mean never." That's the mindset you need if you want to achieve anything great. You have to be okay with the world laughing at you. You have to be okay with being down to your last dollar. Because when you have nothing left to lose, you become the most dangerous person in the room. The secret weapon: first principles. So, how did he actually solve these impossible problems? He didn't do it by being a genius, he did it by using a mental tool called first principles thinking. People live life by analogy. We do things because that's how it's always been done. Elon does the opposite. He breaks a problem down to its basic, fundamental truths and builds up from there. For example, when he started SpaceX, people told him rockets were too expensive. He didn't just accept that. He asked, "What is a rocket made of?" Aerospace-grade aluminum, titanium, copper, and carbon fiber. Then he asked, "What is the cost of those raw materials on the commodities market?" He discovered that the materials only made up 2% of the price of a typical rocket. The rest was just inefficient middlemen and old ways of thinking. By building the rockets himself and using cheaper materials, he cut the cost by nearly 90%. He didn't follow the trend, he broke the trend. Actionable advice for you. Here is how you can use this today. Stop saying, "I can't do this because I don't have the money" or "I don't have the experience." Those are analogies. Ask yourself, what are the physical facts of my problem? If you want to start a YouTube channel, don't say, "I need a $2,000 camera." The first principle is, I need to capture light and sound. Your phone does that. The first principle is, I need to tell a story. Your brain does that. When you strip away the excuses, you're left with the truth. And the truth is usually that you can do it, you're just afraid. Elon wasn't afraid to be wrong. He was only afraid of not trying. But as the rockets finally started to reach the stars, a new challenge emerged. How do you manage a world that expects you to fail every single day? Stay tuned, because next, we're going inside the 100-hour work week and the demon mode that built an empire. The myth of the 100-hour work week. We've all heard the phrase, work hard. But Elon Musk redefined what that actually means. During the production hell of the Tesla Model 3, Elon didn't go home to a mansion. He slept on the floor of the factory. Why? Because he wanted his team to see that if they were suffering, he was suffering more. He famously works 80 to 100 hours every single week. To put that in perspective, that's nearly 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, with 0 days off. He treats his life like a sprint that never ends. He says, if other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, you will achieve in 4 months what takes them a year. It's simple math. He isn't smarter than everyone else, he just outworks everyone else. High-speed decision-making. But it's not just about sitting at a desk. It's about intensity. Musk uses time blocking, breaking his entire day into 5-minute slots. He doesn't have long, boring meetings. In fact, he tells his employees, if you aren't adding value to a meeting, leave. He hates waste. He hates process for the sake of process. He moves with a sense of urgency that borders on mania. If a part for a rocket is taking too long to arrive, he doesn't wait for the supplier, he builds a factory to make the part himself. This is vertical integration. It's the art of taking total control. In Elon's world, later is just another word for never. Demon mode. His biographers call this demon mode. It's a state of extreme focus where he becomes incredibly demanding of himself and everyone around him. It's not always pretty. It's stressful, it's loud, and it's exhausting. But this is the execution phase. Ideas are easy. Execution is everything. Everyone has a great idea for an app or a business. But are you willing to work until your eyes burn? Are you willing to skip the parties, the movies, and the sleep to see your vision become real? Most people want the Tesla result without the Tesla effort. The why, preserving the light. But here is the twist. If you ask Elon why he does this, he won't talk about profit margins or stock prices. He talks about something much deeper. He talks about the light of consciousness. He believes that human consciousness is a tiny candle in a vast, dark universe. And that candle could go out at any moment, through war, climate change, or just plain stupidity. His why is to make life multiplanetary to ensure that the light of human thought doesn't blink out. When your why is the survival of the human race, a 100-hour work week doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like a duty. What is your why? Is it big enough to keep you awake? Because in the next 4 minutes, we're going to show you exactly how to find it and how to build your own future. Stop seeking the easy path. Now, let's be real. You probably aren't planning to build a colony on Mars by next Tuesday. And that's okay. You don't need to build rockets to have the Musk mindset. But you do need to stop doing one thing, stop seeking the easy path. We live in a world that is obsessed with hacks and shortcuts. Everyone wants the six-pack without the gym, everyone wants the million-dollar business without the 100-hour weeks. Elon's life is a masterclass in the opposite. He says, if something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it. Think about that. He didn't wait for a guarantee of success. He didn't wait for the perfect timing. If he had waited for the world to be ready for electric cars, Tesla would never exist. He created the reality he wanted to live in. Are you waiting for permission? Because nobody is coming to give it to you. What is your Mars? So, I have a question for you, what is your Mars? What is the one goal, the one dream, or the one problem that is so big, so important, that you would be willing to go broke for it? Most people fail not because they aim too high and miss, but because they aim too low and hit. They pick a safe goal. But safe doesn't motivate you when you're tired. Safe doesn't get you out of bed at 4 a.m. Elon's Mars is literal. Yours might be a nonprofit, a book, a new career, or a way to provide for your family that changes their lives forever. When your Mars is big enough, the how becomes easy. The pain of the process becomes a badge of honor. The self-correction loop. The final secret to the Musk mindset is radical self-correction. Elon doesn't just work hard, he learns fast. He says you should constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. Don't be afraid of being wrong. Be afraid of staying wrong. Every failure, every explosion in your life, is just data. It's a signpost telling you which way to turn. If you can learn to love the feedback more than you love your ego, you become dangerous. You become a person who can't be stopped, because every time someone knocks you down, you get up smarter. You have the same 24 hours in a day as Elon Musk. You have access to the same internet, the same books, and the same first principles. The only difference is the level of commitment. Are you ready to stop watching and start building? The future belongs to the brave. The story of Elon Musk isn't just about rockets or electric cars. It's a testament to the human spirit. It proves that one person, armed with a vision and a refusal to quit, can bend the arc of history. The future isn't a gift, it's a conquest. It is built brick by brick, code by line, and hour by hour by those who show up when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Musk once said, "I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right." Because the optimists are the ones actually building the world the pessimists just complain about. You have the spark. You have the mindset. Now, you just need the discipline to keep the fire burning. Join the dreamers. If this story gave you the fuel you needed to face your own abyss, then you belong here. This is Sajap the Dreamer, the home for those who refuse to settle for average. We don't just tell stories, we provide the blueprint for your own greatness. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications to join a community of high achievers. We offer the world's most powerful motivational deep dives and success strategies to help you turn your impossible into your reality. Go out there today. Don't just watch the future, build it. I'm Sajap the Dreamer, and your journey to the stars starts now. We'll see you in the next one.